What is going on, everybody? It is Travis here with the NPCs, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. It is July 16th, 2022. We are already halfway through the summer, and trust me, we know it sucks. But anyway, in the news, of course, tonight we'll be talking about Ubisoft prepping to shut down some online servers for some of their games, and it's pretty devastating, especially pretty interesting with what happened with the Steam Summer Sale this last week. We'll also be talking about how the God of War Ragnarok collector's editions all went on sale and now are all up on eBay being scalped for over 200% of their original value. And of course, we'll also be talking about Respawn hiring for a single-player, standalone Apex Legends style game. That and more here in this week's Weekly News Roundup. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup for the week of November 20th, 2020. It is Friday. It is, where's my date? It's September 18th, 2020. Here to our first story, and this is actually breaking news for all of us right now here, too. Figured this is kind of a big one to cover, of course, with who it is. Joined via Discord by Kyle because we're in the midst of a pandemic still, and of course, everything is all kinds of crazy. So this thing is a chonker. I mean,
yeah, it's a beast.
It's huge. Doing that we had the Resident Evil stuff, that they were successful with Castlevania. Welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. And it's the news time. I am joined, of course, by Kyle via Discord. Kyle, hello.
What's up?
Man. And there we go. We are live. We are on the air here. I apologize if we have any frames or anything like that dropping right now. I'm working to try to figure out what exactly could be going on there. Wouldn't be surprised if it's something on my side with what I'm trying to do as well, which includes recording the stream so I can turn it into the podcast part or mixtape. Yeah. You know what? I'll just go ahead. I'll stop the recording for now, and then I will just go ahead and do the tried and true fashion of just downloading the YouTube VOD and turning it into the weekly news live stream podcast. But hey, that's what you're here for. It is the Weekly News Roundup again, July 16th. Kyle, what's going on, man?
What's up? Not a lot on my side, that's for sure.
Yeah, everything here is on fire. I figured after doing a full factory reset, like erasing everything off my computer and getting it all built up again, that we would be in a nice, happy spot. But obviously, I've got some other things I need to tweak that, oh God, I guess I didn't plan for, or that OBS did not save to that exported profile. But needless to say, that's just all problems.
While
I can do
I'm deleting stuff off my computer to add stuff to my computer on the other hand, so it's just kind of weird.
Exactly. Yes, we need bigger computers. We need some thread rippers up in this.
Yeah.
You know, we need our own like massive like workstation instances. But anyway, we are here, of course, to talk about not necessarily our computer woes. We're here to talk about gaming news for the week. So let's hop right into it with the big story and, of course, our title story for today. And that is Ubisoft is shutting down online services for some of their games. That is correct. So Ubisoft has announced they're going to be turning off some online services for a bunch of their older titles. And what that means is, besides multiplayer going away, we will also be losing, and this is from the article by Ars Technica on, let's see, what date was this? This was on the 11th. We're going to be losing not just multiplayer, but it means single-player DLC for the PC versions will no longer be accessible, and that includes for those who have already purchased and downloaded it before the coming shutdown. Those games are going to be Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Driver San Francisco, Far Cry 3, Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands, and Silent Hunter 5 on September 1st, 2022. Well, since this has come out, because there was a little bit of fire with this, Kyle, I know I sent you the link to this story, but the original fire that kind of came up with this was not only just the shutdown part, but also the fact that one of these games, I believe, I don't know if it was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. No, it
was actually, I think both Assassin's Creeds and Far Cry.
No, it was
were all on the. Go ahead.
It was so maybe they were. Liberation, Assassin's Creed Liberation HD. This was the PSP version, I think, of Assassin's Creed. Yeah. That one was that Steam version is not going to be accessible at all following the September 1st shutdown. However, the interesting part is that it was on sale during the Steam summer sale for 75% off, which means that people who hadn't played Liberation, who wanted to fill in that gap in their Assassin's Creed story and who wanted to pick that up, probably got it during the summer sale and may lose access to it at the end of August. However, turns out that Ubisoft is working with Steam to make sure that that ends up not being the case and that people will still be able to play
Right.
it just as they have been.
Well, and I had heard that part of it was actually just bad narrative, the way they had written it, because the way they had originally written the article was that you were, even if you had the game, single player content, DLC, you were going to lose access to everything. And that was just, I guess, a poor press release on their behalf.
I
But
believe it.
yeah, on the other hand, I mean, I have heard that there's for sure not going to be any multiplayer. They're totally doing away with that. I've heard wishy-washy things about DLC, but it sounds like DLC will no longer be accessible just because they're going to delete the servers basically for that. I probably hosted on the same servers as the multiplayer just because it was added content. And then, from what I understand, all single player content will still be accessible, but only if you've previously purchased it now. So if you haven't purchased it, no dice on that one. You're gonna have to search out a physical copy.
Yeah, and a lot of the complaints about this anyway, though, too. I mean, Ubisoft did a very terrible job, and the idea, of course, of a terrible job really of announcing what they were going to be doing, and the Steam summer sale having at least Liberation HD on sale, and now it's like, oh, you can only play it for basically 2 months and then buy. But it does still come back to a lot of the video game preservation stuff, especially with this getting like shut down, these online features being shut down, or that potential for the game to be inaccessible. You know,
Well, and I could also see them particularly attacking Liberation because if I'm not mistaken, it was originally released as a actually I think it was PSP,
yeah,
and
it
it
was
was released
PSP.
as a or not PSP, PS Vita. Um, and it was released as like a DLC originally and then got released as its own thing. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Assassin's Creed.
So Assassin's Creed
But
Liberation was originally released on, no, you're right, the Vita. I thought it was PSP, but it went in
okay,
tandem with Assassin's Creed 3. So it
that's what
was
it was.
because Assassin's Creed 3 was the one that took place in colonial America. And yeah, this was just the telling of another character that was introduced in Assassin's Creed 3 on their own. So
Well, and in later on editions, they had only added it as add-on content. I mean, it did have its own official release per se on, Steam and I think on a couple other consoles. But other than that, it was more viewed as an add-on content. So I could see where they could try and attack that one.
it still is just interesting that they would go and tear
It's
these
pretty
things down.
shisty.
Yeah, especially because of the number of people who still have these games. Like either make it so that way there is some way to be able to get your content, or make sure that whatever it is, like DRM wise, that's in there, that requires an online check-in of some type, is modified to something that acts locally. That's the
Yeah.
big part of it. But that's why
Well,
the video game preservation part really comes into hand with this too.
right. And I actually know a guy that he hosts probably one of the largest Assassin's Creed multiplayer I guess groups that are still active on Xbox, I think 360 specifically for the Brotherhood version. But they're actually getting ready to have like their funeral per se, kind of like, they've done on Red Dead, but I don't know. It's just crazy because it's one of those things. He didn't play it for a long time, and then what was it? A couple years back, they had talked about actually getting rid of the servers for the multiplayer, and he started up the group, and they've been going real strong. And yeah, now it's all going away.
Yeah, it's just like the people who played Halo 2 when the original Xbox Live servers were shutting down on Xbox, or no, it was Halo 3 on the Xbox 360. and all the people stayed in there till the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Serpent Knight here in chat says Sony has a similar problem. A lot of the things still for sale in the PlayStation Store can only be played with hardware that isn't in production anymore. Half my account purchases won't run on the PS4 or 5. Yeah, and that's up to the console manufacturers, especially for a lot of first party stuff potentially that needs to be addressed, especially in that vein. And any of this third party stuff, well, I guess it depends on how the contracts and how any other sort of agreements go too, because there may not be a lot that these folks can even do in the first place. It's just an unfortunate circumstance. We trust us. We despise it though too. But yeah, so it looks like for at least those people with Liberation HD that there will still be accessibility of some type, but there's been no mention of anything else with these other games though too. So I guess we need to see what could come of this, whether it is Ubisoft extending out that date or whether or not we see some other hosting possibility that allows for these games to continue to have some of these feature sets. But that's up to them, not us.
Right.
Yeah. But in the meantime, of course, like everything else, we carry on through the rest of the chaos, and we get to talk about our next story, which is Rockstar confirms that the Red Dead Online devs are moving over to Grand Theft Auto 6. So in this story we've got here from comicbook.com in their gaming section, they have confirmed in a press release from Rockstar Games that they are steadily moving more development resources towards the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. So while they're going to still be sending stuff over to the Red Dead Online community, or at least the Red Dead Online game, it's not going to be big themed content like big events or big updates or anything. It's going to be small, easy to deploy, easy to modify updates and bug fixes and security patches that will at least allow the game to run. But new content, like brand new content, whatever was released last year is it.
Which is really unfortunate when you think about how much time they focused on, developing Grand Theft Autos Online, and it had a rocky start just like Red Dead Online had.
Yeah.
But and you think about it, I mean, Grand Theft Auto was going strong, and they had attempted the Red Dead Online before, so they should have already had a good footing in it. But I imagine with all the new systems and the way the engine was working, there was probably a lot of difficulty and tackling it. Yeah, it had that rough start, but man, even through having a rough start, they've had people that have continuously played it for years and years, and they've never had any of the, or I shouldn't say any of, I should say nowhere near the content that you would see in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, a lot more of the online content in Red Dead Online was very, I guess, role play heavy more than anything. A lot of, like, I guess what people were doing with the high pixel GTA Online servers, the custom ones, to offer that level of role play. I guess, this kind of already had it built into a point. And so by removing some of these larger updates or changes, that does definitely kind of put a damper on like what you're going to be able to do in the online modes. Anyway, granted, yes, they did say here, that we plan to build upon existing modes and add new Telegram missions this year rather than delivering major theme content updates like in previous years. And we will continue to highlight and share the creative efforts of our Red Dead community at every opportunity via the newswire and beyond. So it is a shame to see at least this online community, which seems to be pretty strong and pretty robust, getting kind of the shaft from Rockstar.
But I mean, they act like these content updates were always major, and they never really were. I think they had in the entire lifespan like one major update to the online for Red Dead, whereas comparatively you would get about one every 9 months on Grand Theft Auto or less.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, so definitely the focus seems like since GTA 5 came out that there was more emphasis on the GTA Online content that there was for Red Dead Online.
And I think part of that has to do too with the realized success that they were having, after bridging the gap onto the Xbox One and getting close to or I guess closer to the middle of the console's lifespan and closer to the end of the console's lifespan. And they saw that it was still running really, really strong, like one of the highest player count continuously games online. So,
Yeah, and you're going to go where the money's making, where the money's being made at. So, and with
right.
whatever they're doing with GTA 6, that's going to require that extra heavy lifting that
Yeah.
a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 really set forward. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 is getting its next console release, or it's already had it, I think. Yeah, it had it at the end of last year, I think.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, so it's like GTA 6 has a lot to write on, and I think we can get that from a business standpoint. But for at least a community standpoint where people are playing your games at, it does feel like a shame that this is how Red Dead's going to end up being, going forward, that it's going to be kind of barren, so to speak.
Yeah, and as I was speaking about it earlier, I mean, players now are literally getting on and reminiscing and taking photos or visiting sites like this is the last time I'm going to be on the game, so I'm going to go to this canyon and I'm going to take a screenshot and that's going to be my background. And it's like it sounds kind of weird, but some of these guys have played the game for, 2.5 years, and at this point that's basically one of like maybe 2 or 3 games that they play, because some people do that. They pick up 1 or 2 games and that's what they play.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it. So I guess where that leaves Red Dead Online is just as it is right now. And I guess for however long Rockstar decides to keep those servers running. So if you haven't checked out Red Dead Online, all the content's now officially there. So I guess you got to go do what you got to go do with it.
it's still a great experience. I mean, it's extremely realistic. You have to eat and feed your horse, and it's crazy the amount of detail that they put into that game to not continue to expand on it. But with that being said, it's definitely worth the checkout.
Yeah, it really is. And another thing we should check out here is our next story, which is about God of War Ragnarok and its collector's editions. Well, turns out that those collector's edition sales went live on the 15th, so that would be yesterday. And just as those editions went on sale, not only did they all sell out, but now we're seeing posts up on eBay for these collector's editions being sold at markups of about 200% or more. So it looks like when this releases, there's going to be 3 different versions of Ragnarok, Kyle. There's going to be the $69.99 or base version, which is $69.99 for the PlayStation 5 and $60 for the PlayStation 4. The collector's edition comes with a replica Mjolnir, dice set, 2 Vanir twin carvings, a steelbook display case, Knowledge Keeper Shrine, and a voucher for digital goods for $200. And then there's the Jotnar edition, which is going to cost $260. And it includes the majority of the collector's edition bonuses, but has an alternate dice set, a 7-inch vinyl, a pin set, and a Draupnir ring. But, and this list comes from GameSpot. But while that sounds all in good, especially as we see for collector's edition content, what we are seeing, though, is that as soon as that happened to go up and the pre-orders ran out, the scalpers hit hard. And so GameSpot here is reporting that they are seeing anywhere for the standard collector's edition costing anywhere from, $260 to $445, and $448 to $600 for the Jotnar collector's edition.
Yeah, I'm seeing the. I actually, as you were starting to talk about it, I looked up the current eBay listings, and I think the ones that I'm seeing are just the standard edition, but the most expensive one I've seen so far is 400. Let me. You said it was Jotnar?
I think, yeah, Jotnar.
NER?
NAR.
NAR.
And what are you seeing? I'm sure there's probably some.
500, 550, 525. Yeah, they're so some of them may have gotten pulled or reorganized their prices. Just seeing the other listings go up from other scalpers, but yeah, they're all still really high up there, unfortunately. So
Okay.
that's no good.
No, that's no bueno. Not one bit. So, yeah, the scalping issue obviously is something that I guess really can't be fought here. I guess it depends on how many were available. I guess it also
Right.
depends on how many are going to be available through different retailers, because I don't know if the pre-orders were directly through PlayStation, but if they were through any of the other retailers that we expect to see collector's editions at, Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, Walmart.com, any of those spots, then maybe not all of them have been pre-ordered yet, but it's kind of a mixed bag on whether PlayStation Studios is going to step up and say, "Hey, we need to fix this. We need to get this sorted out properly." And whether they start canceling orders and opening up new stock, or they try to issue more, who knows? But
See, and
man,
I
world of
almost think
scalpers.
that this is just because of what I've seen in you a lot more here lately. You see 6 months after the game release, a bunch of collector's editions will flood the market from retailers,
Mm-hmm.
and it almost makes me wonder that if the distributor or the publisher is holding back copies, they only allocate so much of a percent, they're going to say, oh, we're only going to do 45% or 40% as pre-orders, and then we're going to hold the rest till a holiday season to put out some at a decent rate, because they'll make their money already on the ones. Because let's face it, a lot of that stuff, it, some of it they can get made for free or actually pretty cheap. So I mean, there's that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's actually a very interesting thought on that. If they're going to do something like that. I mean, I don't know if they've done anything like that before in the past, but that's not necessarily a bad way to kind of fight the scalping that these pre-order systems only have X amount allocated in them, and as soon as it hits that number, it's done. But that doesn't mean that's 100% of the available stock
Right.
overall. So no, that's probably going to end up being the case. That would be nice if they would fight the system like that, but we saw what happened with graphics cards and the new consoles as well too.
Fortunately.
So, but hey, at least a lot of that is a
Yeah.
lot of that's taken care of. Because funny enough, I was in GameStop
Yeah.
earlier today, and GameStop actually has PlayStation 5s in stock. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's funny.
so
Yeah, no, and
um,
of course, just what was it last week? Graphic cards were something like 28 to 33% below MSRP and available.
yeah, there were people who were able to go and snag all of the different cards that they have been looking to get for some time, for good deals and good prices. So,
Mm-hmm.
and these are brand new in box. These aren't even used ones anyway. So there is going to be fluctuation in the scalping market anyway, because everybody wants to play God of War Ragnarok, and these collector's editions look really cool. Obviously, there's going to be people out there who are going to game the system. So let's hope that what you said ends up holding true, and that there is some stock hiding away there in the background that makes its way out to the people who actually truly want it, and not just to make a buck.
Yeah, because I mean, really and truly, it's really unfortunate anyway when a lot of these scalpers, they do end up getting some of this money that they're asking for stuff, and then later on down the line, you see it for 2/3 less than or a third less than what it was going for brand new, and you can pick it up brand new at GameStop, Target, Walmart, whatever your retailer of choice is. It's just really disheartening to us as gamers, and I think that's also one of the reasons you see some companies put out collector's editions separate from the game, so you have to purchase all the content and all the extra stuff that you want set completely separate.
Yeah, maybe that's another one of those methods to be able to fight the situation too. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
But it's hard
we'll
to
see.
say.
Agreed. We will
Yeah.
see what they come back with. But I guess what we do get to see potentially coming back is, hey, Kyle, maybe we get a Titanfall 3 here soon because
Ooh.
maybe not. I don't know.
Uh,
I guess it's going to depend. So, Respawn, the creators of the Titanfall series as well as the ever popular Apex Legends Battle Royale set in the Titanfall universe, have put up job postings for a Apex universe first-person shooter incubation job. So on their website, of course, they're looking for several different titles, and the one title that they call out here, at least as an example, here on Polygon, is Senior Environment Artist, and it describes the project as a single-player adventure. And so, because it's a incubation, and they explain this here on the Polygon article. Here's what they say: and while this is just an incubation, meaning the project could be canceled even before it's officially announced and titled, it's still an exciting tease for Apex Legends fans. So, what they're doing is they want to bring the talent together. They want to hire the people, bring them together, and say, make what could be a single player game in the what they call now the Apex universe. Unfortunately, according to the article here, it looks like the Titanfall universe name has been replaced by Apex because Apex is now bigger than Titanfall, which is a shame.
Unfortunate.
Trust me, that bothers me. But what this could be is that this could be one of those situations where it could be Titanfall 3 just under some sort of Apex name instead.
It could be, or I mean, it could be, the progression of getting to a Titanfall 3, something that's, more single player focused without having the ability to mech, more based on like the pilot abilities of being able to wall run and do more of the crazy acrobatics that you can't quite do in Apex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
but one would hope that maybe it would provide more of that maybe mixed bag of give us the best of Titanfall, give us the best of Apex, and throw it into one game.
Give me
Because
BT back.
yes, I would love to see I would love to see the return of Titans, but also see kind of like how the Apex champions also tie into it though too, potentially.
Yeah.
That would be a very interesting take on this itself, especially if it ends
Well,
up being
if
just
I'm
straight up single player, not even multiplayer.
Right, right. Well, if I'm not mistaken, one of the seasons they actually had something to do with the Titan pilots, or when they released a new character, she was supposed to be the daughter of a Titan pilot or something like that.
Yeah, they did have a couple. Like it was like I hate to say this, but that was long enough ago. I think they've released 2 other characters since then, and of course they released Apex Legends Mobile. But
Right.
yeah, there were the rumors there that there was going to be one character, and we covered this too, that was going to have a ultimate ability that allowed them to call in a Titan that worked in Sentry mode, but it never came to fruition. We never actually saw that happen. So yes,
Probably
there
because it
is.
would have won the battle no matter what.
True. Well, as it stands right now, I believe there is one character that has that relationship. The other one that came back in as a playable character, I think, is Ash, and she was an enemy she was an antagonist in Titanfall 2. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so she came back as a character in Apex Legends. I actually had a whole 2 seasons, I think, that were dedicated to actually like her and her coming back. So, they at least helped to bridge a lot more of it besides just, the namesakes for like some of the companies and some of the weapons that were built into all of it. And, it's like,
Right.
okay, here you go. Now it's like you're getting more of the Titanfall stuff rolling into it. But this does really give me some hope. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that we will get a Titanfall 3 in some form because of this. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen, though. Doesn't mean we're going to see it happen potentially. So many people are so invested in Apex Legends that we haven't been able to get a Titanfall 3. It sucks.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, a game that would be based solely on, the first person shooting and the pilot abilities, being able to wall run and the acrobatics, like I said, that would be good and fun for a little while. But I mean, so many games are kind of doing that now. I mean, you've had side scrollers that have done it with like Katana Zero in a way. Just the speed and the movement and I don't know. I just kind of relate that quick pacing to one another. And then you just other games have done it. Ghost Runner, for example, first person shooter while running. Granted, it's more like Hotline Miami in the aspect that you have to complete each section in a one off, but
Right.
I mean, it focuses on those abilities, you know. So I feel like you would almost have to have a Titanfall game to do something, you know. It'd be really difficult to do something that's solely based on Apex, but who knows?
Yeah, that is a, you make a very excellent point on that too. So it's going to be, that's where it makes me think like maybe it's under the Apex wrapper, but it actually is secretly Titanfall 3.
Right.
Maybe. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, Kyle, okay? Let me have this.
I
All
hope
right?
so.
Let me
I
have
hope
this.
so.
I need this. I can't survive off of
Yeah,
Titanfall 2
just
anymore.
I just want BT again. That's all I need. I might get off tonight and play some Titanfall 2.
Oh,
Holy cow.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that's where we wrap up the news early. We go to Titanfall 2. No, we're going to finish
Right?
this up, obviously.
No.
All right.
No,
Well,
we're gonna fish.
yeah, well, let's carry on here to our last main story for the day before we get into our quest marker section, of course, and that is with EA. So EA is ending their BioWare points and are going to be making Dragon Age and Mass Effect DLC 3. So BioWare points were a form of currency that existed in the Origin launcher, Origin storefront for PC, and because they're going to be removing that sort of in-house currency system, they're going to be releasing all of the DLC for, or at least most DLC. Here is the listing from IGN says for Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3 to all players for free. So that means that like for me, for my original Mass Effect 3 install that I have, or Mass Effect 3 game that I have on Origin, that means all that DLC will become available. And you know, if you weren't one to go get the Mass Effect Legendary Edition during the during Prime days, there's that possibility that maybe, I don't know.
Get to
That,
play it.
yeah, maybe I actually get to play it a little bit.
I mean, it's really cool that they're doing this. It's seemingly really, really late when you think about it. I mean, Dragon Age has been out for God, how many years now? And then the original Mass Effect, holy cow, that was like the second or third year of Xbox, I feel like. I could be wrong on that one. No, I think it was a little bit later than that, but still that just the fact that they're releasing all these DLCs that came out. I mean it's cool that they're doing it for free though. And at least one of the games they've already re-released, so I mean, if you haven't played it in the new version, maybe it's time to pull out the old versions and plug in the DLC because there are some good missions on there.
There really are. Don't get me wrong. There really are. It's just, yeah, if you weren't able to secure a Legendary Edition or you don't go and pick it up, there's, you know, being able to have some of the stuff for free there if you have the original games is going to be great. You know,
Mhm.
especially if you haven't done any of the DLC yet, or maybe you picked up one,
Right.
but you didn't pick up the other. But it looks like, let's see here.
Well, and I thinking back, actually, I think there was DLC on Mass Effect 2 and 3 that, unless you bought the Legendary Edition recently, the only other way you could have played it previously was if you pre-ordered the games.
That's true too. Yeah, there's that, and
Yeah.
then there was some DLC that actually didn't even make it to Legendary Edition because the source code was damaged or
Lost. Yeah,
lost.
completely lost. Yeah. I think it may have been partially damaged in that they just considered it a loss, but yeah, they said it was lost. So
Yeah, so there's a very good chance that there's a very good chance that something could go on there, you know, that maybe you actually get to see some of that DLC that we didn't get to see in Legendary Edition. But I guess that'll
That'd be
vary,
kinda
you
cool.
know. Yeah, oh, absolutely it will be. Absolutely it will be. In the meantime, of course, though, it is obviously now, you know, I think well, let me see here. Where's the actual date though on this before we move on to the quest marker stuff? right here. So the BioWare point stuff is going to be gone from the Origin store on October 11th, which means that here sometime soon you should start to see that DLC become potentially available. But it doesn't exactly give a date onto when they're going to show up. So be on the lookout for those being available if you have those games in your inventory on Origin. But in the meantime, of course, though, we are going to move on to the last section, of course, of the news for today. And that is the NPCs quest markers with Kyle. So, oh my God, I got to fix this really quick before you talk, Kyle. Stupid.
Oh, dear.
Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. Stupid thing. Let's see here. Was it that one? No, it wasn't that one. Oh my God. I got to figure out where to put you here. No.
Well, there's the quest markers one. I see that one.
I know. I got to fix it because it's like, okay. Oh my God.
Whoa. Now I'm blown up.
Dang it. I love this. I have to go fix all your stuff now because you're just everywhere now. Thanks for that there, OBS, as I try to go and have my computer rebuilt and stuff. So, okay, there, we're in a good spot now. I got you fixed. You're the focus. You are the star of this show now. So, Kyle, let's get into the quest marker stuff. Take it away, dude. What do we got?
For sure. So, PlayStation has completed its acquisition of Destiny Studio Bungie.
Woo!
In the amount of, I guess, to the tune of $3.6 billion. And of course, speaking with Sony CEO Kenshiro Yoshida, saying the company's acquisition of Halo creator Bungie was partially motivated by its desire for PlayStation to become more of a multi-platform business. Quote, "We believe it will be a catalyst to enhance our live gaming service capabilities," he said. Our acquisition of Bungie also represents a major step forward in becoming more multi-platform.
Huzzah.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
And then, this one actually wasn't in the list, but I did feel the need to mention this. PlayStation has also announced that they will be starting a new loyalty program.
Oh, yeah.
With PlayStation Stars for gamers, with rewarding players for being like the first to complete an achievement in a game or doing so much in a game. So be on the lookout for the new program to start. I don't think they have an actual release date.
I don't think so either.
But they did, however, say it is not going to be NFT based.
Yay.
So thank God for that.
What else do we got?
Continuing on, we've got 343 has launched the Halo Infinite campaign co-op public testing. Started on the 15th, so as of yesterday, you were able to hop on as long as you have the Xbox Insider program or an invitation through Steam. Unfortunately, there has been many issues with the Insider program on Xbox, particularly on the PC side, working. So if you've gotten a invite, definitely be on the lookout to do anything you need to communicate through Bungie. I know they've already handed out some keys to try and make things happen. But yeah, it's unfortunately I am not going to be on this one. It looks like, simply because I got a Steam key and I don't even have the Steam game.
That's how they get you.
Right? They're like, go buy the game again.
Perfect.
And in our last bit of news, the Power Wash Simulator devs warn Xbox players, as in real life, in the game, do not look into the sun. So apparently on Xbox, there is unfortunately a bug in this, what is apparently an extremely fun game. But if you look into the sun and move while playing the console version of the game, it can cause the game to abruptly crash.
Yay, we love crashes. Not really, but
at the moment, Future Lab, creator of the game, is working on the on a fix, but as of yet, no word on when it will be complete.
Oh well, that's okay.
Yep. So right now, as of yet. The only workaround to play the game and continue progress without crashing is to not look at the sun whatsoever and don't move while looking at the sun. So there's that.
Well then, with that then, that is it then for the news. So in that, don't look at the sun, of course, but be sure to go and look at our podcast, of course, over on anchor.fm/the-NPCs-podcast and go subscribe there for all the different content that we've created so far. And of course, be sure to subscribe here on our YouTube channel as well. With that, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's NPCs News Roundup. We'll catch you all next week.
Laters.